Coming up on this episode of Earth, we travel to Japan to see how the wristwatch has become a precise yet eco-friendly way for any citizen to tell time. In Arkansas, we'll see how scrap metal is being turned into steel on a most sustainable journey towards a net zero future. And in North Carolina, we find out how an electric company has gone solar to provide carbon-free electricity to thousands of homes. In Canada's capital, we'll see how almost any building can go zero carbon, even an ice rink. And in China and Hong Kong, we'll meet a company where sustainable toys are a way of doing global business to protect our planet. That's all coming up on Earth. Hi, I'm John Holden.
And I'm Andrea Ocampo.
Welcome to Earth. Hi, I'm John Holden. Welcome to Earth. I'm starting off the show climbing above the city of Ida in central Japan. It's known as the city of precision technology because it's been designated by the government of Japan as being a model environmental city, thanks to its ways for cutting greenhouse gas emissions. So I thought this is the perfect place to introduce our next story on a company known for its eco-friendly and precise ways for any citizen to tell time, as you're about to see. Human beings created the concept of time by observing the cycles of sun and moon. Today, it seems appropriate that we use the sun's energy to power timepieces, like the wristwatch. It's an eco-friendly as well as a practical, sustainable idea. All watches require power, but very few consider where that power comes from and what impact it may have on the wearer and our world at large.
Having something on your wrist that is a constant physical reminder of the passage of time grounds you in the present. It reminds you of the past, and it makes you conscious of the future, and those are the fundamental spiritual perspectives necessary to begin to walk on a path of sustainability.
Watch innovations are of great interest to Jack Forster. As global editorial director at Watchbox, known by collectors as the definitive resource for rare timepieces, he's especially interested in a watch technology called EcoDrive, pioneered by Citizen Watch, that enables watches to be powered by any light source, continuously and sustainably, eliminating the need to replace watch batteries and preventing millions of watch batteries from entering landfills each year.
And I think one of the wonderful things that Citizen has done, and one of the most important things that it has done, is become a thought leader in light-powered watch technology, which is their EcoDrive technology. And EcoDrive is the most sophisticated light-powered watch technology on the planet. Citizen has managed to integrate it really beautifully, not only as a technological achievement, but also as something that allows them to do things aesthetically that nobody else can do with watches.
As one of the world's largest and most innovative watchmakers, whose original objective was to make watches available to ordinary citizens all over the globe, you can't really talk about Tokyo without mentioning Citizen watches. They're as familiar here as bonsai and origami. Now, it's true, time-telling is an ancient tradition, but as I found out at the Citizen Watch Museum in Tokyo, watchmaking is certainly keeping up with modern technology and sustainability.
そのような環境の中で、1976
So within such change in the history we have seen over the years, in 1976, we came out with the first analog solar-powered watch, and with that was the impetus to actually create the EcoDrive that we see today. And EcoDrive is not just about solar power. It's about taking any source of light to be able to run the watch on people's wrists. When you have a quartz watch, you have to replace the battery every 2 to 3 years. But we have reduced incredibly the amount of batteries required to actually run the watch. And so, in other words, we were able to focus on what we can do for the environment.
As a result of that, we've concentrated a lot of energy and a lot of attention on EcoDrive technology, and that technology now enables us to keep batteries out of landfills to the height of Mount Everest every single year. We've pushed the boundaries of innovation in eco-drive technology, and this light-powered watch can be found in the great depths of the oceans. You'll also find them with polar explorers, folk that are looking at climate change at really high altitudes. Our watches perform perfectly there. Citizen eco-drive powered watches are also available to you and I every day.
As time goes on, humanity's sustainable future will be defined by such products that harness light energy for power. And light technology is changing rapidly here at Citizen. It's being retooled for greater efficiency and flexibility.
エコドライブという製品はですね、電池の交換がいらないということで。
Obviously, the eco-drive is about requiring no need for regular battery replacement, and it's about providing less stress on the environment. But at the same time, in order for a watch to be worn by the people, it needs to be beautiful. We take focus on every part of the watch. How can we make it small? How can we make it more efficient? How we can make it thin so that we can get more latitude to the beautiful expression that the watch can have.
Here at Citizen's Watch Assembly Factory in Ida, Japan, it's easy to see why this city and this company are known for precision technology. A combination of high-tech robotic machinery as well as intricate handmade assembly of each part of the watch is underway by individual craftsmen and a supermeister with decades of experience in watchmaking, in a fascinating display of watch craftsmanship in action.
やはり43年間いていろいろな時計に携わってきた。
I've seen the history of how the watch's demands have changed over the years, so the watch stays current. And with that, what was required was our ability to sort of up our game in terms of our assembling techniques. And that's always been the case, that we needed to make sure that assembling techniques are evolving with the times.
エコドライブの時計を作り続けるっていうことは一つの
By creating eco-drive, it allows us to do something for the environment. With less energy, the watch runs for a longer time and actually improves the quality of people's lives. And I believe elevating our skills in eco-drive is our way of sort of doing our part for the earth, for the environment.
A watch that is friendly to people, society, and the environment. A watch that keeps on moving.
The Citizen Factory lives in harmony with nature, the reason for the apple trees planted in front of it. Now, the apple may be a symbol of the city of Ida in Japan, but it's the pride that Citizen has in its precision watchmaking and environmental sustainability that really should keep us all eco-mindful of the time we have on this good earth. Our next story takes us here along the peaceful Mississippi and Osceola, Arkansas in Mississippi County. You know, back in the 1830s, this was an important refueling station for steamships and a shipping hub for timber and cotton, and also an important shipping hub today for our country's steel industry, especially steel that's becoming ever more responsible to our environment, as you're about to see. Mississippi County in Arkansas produces the majority of American-made steel. In fact, it's the #2 steel producing county in the nation. Steel production accounts for about 8% of global greenhouse gas emissions, but steel is also the most recycled material on Earth. About 650 million metric tons are recycled every year, and every ton of recycled steel prevents about 1.5 tons of CO2 from being released into the atmosphere. Recycling also reduces the need for mining raw materials such as iron ore, coal, and limestone. Steel suppliers and users are very aware of the benefits of recycling to our global environment. They've formed a not-for-profit organization called Responsible Steel, headquartered in London, which supports sustainable steel sourcing, production, and recycling worldwide.
Responsible Steel is a global organization that's leading the industry towards a sustainable net zero future. We're in the early days, but my vision is for Responsible Steel certification to be the must-have for the steel industry across the world.
Now, in April 2022, U.S. Steel's Big River Steel facility here along the levee of the Mississippi River was recognized as the very first responsible steel site to be certified in North America and one of very few worldwide.
Paving the way for hopefully carbon neutral steel, right? Net zero steel by 2050. That was a big part of our commitment in pursuing site certification. So we have corporate level commitments and site level commitments so that we can do our part to reduce CO2 emissions worldwide from our operations here.
It's totally different than what historical steel companies have done. We can take the scrap that you see behind me right here and we can put that in an electric arc furnace, and within 2 hours you'll have a steel coil for a customer to spec that will get shipped out in a couple days to that customer. It's a quick process, it's environmentally friendly, it's sustainable. Everything across the whole business that we do right now is geared towards sustainability.
Because of its environmental sustainability efforts and energy efficiency performance, U.S. Steel's Big River facility is the only LEED certified steel mill in the country, recycling more than 3 million tons of scrap metal every year. Now that scrap includes mountains of pig iron that's been brought in from around the globe, and this stuff is heavy, and also old railroad cars and locomotives that's being cut up so it can be melted.
Another example of how the closed loop scrap system works. You take a rail car that's been in life for 20 years, now end of life, it comes here, we clean it out, we burn it, we cut it up to pieces, we remelt it and make it into steel for customers. And potentially, this steel you see behind you will get melted into an EAF. It could potentially be made back into a rail car later in life at some point in time with one of our steel coils. So it's a complete closed loop system that we use here on site from a sustainability and environmental standpoint.
With an annual production capacity of over 3 million tons, the Big River facility is already one of the largest electric arc steel mills in North America. And it's about to get much bigger and even more sustainable, thanks to construction of a new high-tech production facility that will produce specialized steel for the electric vehicle industry.
Right now, we're currently producing about 3 million tons per year. By mid-2024, this facility will be in excess of 6 million tons per year. The non-grain-oriented facility will focus on the electric motor manufacturing. Here at Big River, through our EAF capabilities, we will be able to produce the thinnest and cleanest electrical steels in North America, maybe even in the world.
At the end of the line, these coils, weighing up to 90,000 pounds and made primarily of recycled steel, are ready to be loaded onto truck, rail car, or brought back to the barges on the Mississippi River to be loaded and brought almost anywhere. A sustainable, closed-loop journey for a most responsible steel story. Next up, Earth travels to North Carolina. We're all looking for a brighter future, but one company in Northwest North Carolina is directly propelling us toward it. Blue Ridge Energy, an electric cooperative that provides electricity to almost 80,000 members, has worked with a developer to install a high-tech solar power station that went online in early 2022. This helps control power costs and provides a lower carbon future for surrounding communities, supporting the company's goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2050.
As a local cooperative, our members are really seeking that sustainable green energy as part of our overall portfolio mix. We feel that it's important to incorporate these renewable energies onto the grid, something that is produced locally here in this community. Something that is going to be sustainable for years to come without putting out the carbon emissions of another generating plant.
The Brighter Future Solar Array will cover about 55 acres in southern Caldwell County near the city of Lenore and provide 19,000 megawatt hours annually of carbon-free electricity, enough for about 1,600 homes. The project also helps the electric cooperative manage peak power demands to stabilize wholesale power costs.
Our Brighter Future vision really brings affordability, reliability, and sustainability together, and we're trying to give that to all of our members through this project and other projects as part of our Brighter Future vision.
The cooperative aspect of the program is important because Blue Ridge Energy is owned and overseen by local citizens. It's the kind of structure which connects a critical service, electric power, directly to its users, while bringing together our larger national community in seeking a brighter, carbon-free future. Next up, Ottawa, Ontario. We're starting off our story here in Ottawa, Ontario, the capital of Canada. And behind me, this Gothic Revival style building is known as Peace Tower. It's part of Canada's Parliament Hill. It's a group of government buildings along the Ottawa River. Now, the Peace Tower is 6 stories high. That's about 322 feet. And as an environmental reporter, of course, the first thing I ask is, how do they heat and cool this thing? Air conditioning and heating buildings significantly contributes to global warming. It takes plenty of energy to run an air conditioning system, even the most energy efficient buildings. They also leak hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, directly into the air, depleting Earth's ozone layer. To reduce the impacts of heating and cooling, researchers look for ways to make these systems more efficient and to run them on cleaner fuels.
A zero-carbon building is a building that doesn't have any emissions associated with its operations over a 12-month period. So in order to become a zero-carbon building, you have to identify all the fossil fuel consumption in the building, develop a plan to phase that out, and actually perform over a 12-month period without any carbon emissions.
Sometimes we can just dress accordingly if it gets a little too cool or warm inside, but not here. These guys need hard ice, and lots of it. This is the AMPT Sports Lab and Ice Complex in Ottawa, Ontario. As a one-stop facility for hockey development, AMPT houses an ice rink for training, a 4,000 square foot gym, physiotherapy rooms, and a pro shop. All that requires a lot of energy. But this is also the country's first zero-carbon building performance standard arena, certified in 2020 by the Canada Green Building Council.
Well, for this building, it was the first arena to achieve certification. And if you can think about an arena, it's a very energy-intensive building. We got this ice pad behind us. There's a lot of dehumidification and energy use associated with that ice. So for us, it was the first time we had really gone outside that traditional office and multi-unit residential market to certify a building with such high energy loads.
The AMPT complex's environmental footprint was reduced by the work of Modern Niagara, one of Canada's largest electrical, mechanical, and integrated building technology firms.
AMPT as an ice rink is something that was exceptionally challenging. Had to plan ahead a lot with the fluctuations in the Canadian climate. Definitely looking at things like the desiccant units to help manage the humidity and the heat, but also manage the cold in a way that is very robust for the ice hockey players. The technical challenges as well as the human performance challenges involved meant that our team had to be very creative and very technical in their delivery. So this was a project that could withstand the test of time.
And we chose AMPT because we figured, a hockey arena, it's got a lot of cooling requirements, it's got loads that a lot of other buildings aren't faced with, and we felt if we could do it at AMPT and in an arena, that would kind of set the bar very high in terms of if we could do it there, we could probably do it in any building.
Modern Niagara's overall design objective was to reduce the AMPT complex's energy consumption by at least 40%. That required technicians to look at all aspects of the building's internal systems and figure out how to replace natural gas with renewable energy.
A hockey arena is a very energy-intensive building. What solar panels allow us to do is we typically use air conditioning when the sun is shining outside and it's warm. Well, that's the same time when solar panels can generate electricity. So why not reduce the peak load that this building requires by putting solar panels on the roof? It's not as simple as just looking at one component of the building. You have to look at a number of things to do that. You have to think outside of the box, and you really have to look at the facility from a life cycle cost aspect, not just the installed cost. So you have to look at the cost of a building over time, and that's what makes it possible to actually achieve the energy reduction.
For instance, Canada has passed legislation pledging to move the entire country to net zero emissions by the year 2050. And Modern Niagara has pledged to be an active partner in reducing building emissions in modern structures like AMP, and even in historic buildings like what you find here on Parliament Hill.
I see Modern Niagara's role as it relates to climate action, and specifically obviously the building industry, is that over the last 62 years, the entire history of our organization, we've developed the skills and abilities where we can have a big impact on decarbonizing buildings, which is going to be a critical part of Canada and quite frankly the entire world achieving the targets that have been set in the Paris Accord and other commitments that countries have made.
Modern Niagara's work proves that real cost and energy savings is possible in almost any building, greatly reducing its eco-footprint. And you know, that's a real challenge, a real exciting goal, almost as exciting as that winning shot in hockey. Our next story takes us here, high above the city of San Francisco and the most photographed bridge in the world, the Golden Gate Bridge. You know, this is a great place to come and sightsee and play. And speaking of playing, did you know the language of playing is universal anywhere in the world, from California to Hong Kong? And so is the concern for the sustainability of playing and the toys we play with, as you're about to see. They're our first bridge to learning, toys. Children around the world develop their growing minds through playing with games and toys, but their parents are also concerned with the sustainability of them. Just ask Orly Erickson. She chooses toys very carefully for her kids, 11-year-old Emma and 4-year-old Leo.
I still remember what the toys I used to play with, and you know, as much as I think imaginary play is huge, but I think that if you have a toy that, you know, teaches you the fundamentals is even better.
I like doing this with my brother because it helps him learn how his ABCs and what they look like, and he can start tracing them so he can find out how to write them in words.
You know, kids can use their imagination to learn from all kinds of play, and when their toys enhance the learning process, well, they can learn to really appreciate the environment.
I'm a lean, green recycling machine. Let's roll.
Inspiring creativity. That's the idea behind Vtech and Leapfrog toys. But there's more to the story. These products are made from start to finish with sustainability in mind. Vtech is a global leader in electronic learning products, headquartered in Hong Kong. We asked Clement Chow, the company's Vice President of Learning, about the research that drives toy development.
At Vtech and Vtech Toys, we really aim to combine fun experiences with carefully designed curriculum to make learning enjoyable for kids of all ages. Toys and education are all about preparing children for their future, and so we must also prepare the future of their environment.
These days, toy makers are as concerned as any manufacturing business with becoming environmentally responsible, especially here in China, where these educational toys are designed and made.
Sustainability is very important to Vtech. Our vision is to create sustainable value to improve the lives of people and protect the planet for future generations. Vtech sees sustainability as challenges as well as opportunities. We integrate economic growth, environmental protection, and social responsibility into our business strategies. Our technological innovation in product design, green manufacturing, and sustainable operations is key to our success.
Dr. Patrick Sitt is Associate Dean of the School of Energy and Environment at City University of Hong Kong. He says China's pledge to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060 means that sustainable manufacturing here has become essential.
Technology is also key to green manufacturing, so many big companies are actually putting a lot of resources in developing innovative solutions to reduce the carbon footprint of their products. So Vtech is actually one of those responsible companies putting a lot of resources in this direction.
We are developing electronic learning products made from sustainable materials such as reclaimed plastic, plant-based plastic, or FSC certified wood. We have launched 4 products made from plant-based plastic, including this popular GoGo Smart Wheel series. Here we have this truck made from reclaimed plastic we collect during our manufacturing process. To reduce the use of plastic, we have launched our first wooden toy line. The wood is sourced from responsibly managed forests. Water treatment system is installed to reuse wastewater in our manufacturing facilities. Using renewable energy is an ongoing program company-wide. The solar panel covers 8,000 square meters of our rooftop, and more will be installed in the upcoming year.
Vtech's toy distribution also reaches here to the United States, where parents, just like those in China, are concerned with the environmental health of the world their children will inherit.
Sustainability isn't a project, it's not an initiative, it's a way of doing business that is embedded in our DNA. We try to build sustainability into every toy that we make, whether it's through the components or the packaging. There's sustainability built into the thinking of every toy.
I think of quality, and I think of a company that cares for our children generally and the environment, knowing that they're teaching our kids huge things when they're younger and as they grow up, and then knowing that the toys are made environmentally friendly is huge.
Here, you point out where you live. Bingo, bango. Very good, Leo. You know, you're never too old to learn, and in this case, you're never too young either. And you know what's neat is that I've learned myself that any company can become greener, even toy companies, just by taking a close look at their processes, from design to production to playtime. Right, kids? I'm John Holden. Thanks for watching. Okay, where are we going next?